Hello there, very good evening and welcome to the News Tonight, where we get you the day's top stories. I'm Tracy Shilshi and here are the headlines. 6 Pakistani militants, including the nephew of 26/11 attack mastermind, killed in an encounter in Kashmir's Bandipora district. 1 Air Force commando is martyred in the gunfight. Delhiites breathe a sigh of relief. Air quality improves in the national capital after overnight showers. Met Department predicts light showers on Sunday as well. The Padmavati controversy refuses to die down. CBFC sends back the film to the maker, citing technical issues. Prasoon Joshi is upset with the screening of the film for section of the media. And UN Climate Change Conference concludes in Bonn after marathon talks. Delegates of 200 nations agree on a framework for a rule book for the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement. Let's start with news that's coming in from Jammu and Kashmir. 6 terrorists were killed in a massive operation carried out by security forces in Bandipora district on Saturday. These include 2 Lashkar-e-Toiba commanders and the son of a top commander of Pakistan-based Jamaat-ud-Dawa. Calling the encounter a huge success, Jammu and Kashmir Police Chief SP Vaid confirmed that all of the terrorists neutralized during the encounter were Pakistanis. Acting on specific intelligence input about the presence of terrorists in Chandergir village in Hajin, security forces cordoned off the area and launched a search operation. The operation resulted in an encounter when the terrorists in hiding fired on the search party of the security forces, prompting them to retaliate. An Air Force commando who was part of the joint team, however, lost his life in the operation. 2 other soldiers are reported to be injured as well.
I would say it's a huge success. Today's operation in Chandergir, Hajin of district Bandipur was a great success. I compliment the officers and jawans of RR, CRPF and JNK police who have done a commendable job. Hajin has been a difficult area to operate. We had, in fact, the reverses in the early months of this year. We lost 1 CRPF commandant and an army officer. And today also some incident of stone pelting did take place, but we are committed to achieve our goal and we are not distracted.
हमारी सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस, हमारी सेना, हमारे जो सीआरपीएफ, जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस के सभी लोगों को मैं बधाई देना चाहूँगा. उनके जो कमांडर्स हैं, उनके जो लीडरशिप है कि बहुत बड़ा सक्सेसफुल जो ऑपरेशन आज रहा. और ये शायद पहली बार है कि 6 आतंकवादी जो हैं वो सारे मारे गए, सारे पाकिस्तानी थे और एक भी बच के भाग नहीं पाया और हमारा नुकसान बहुत कम हुआ है. तो ये बहुत बड़ा ही कामयाबी का ऑपरेशन है.
In Chennai, IT officials searched offices at Jayalalitha's residence in Poise Garden last night and the rooms used by Shashikala and the late CM's assistant. Meanwhile, TTV Dinakaran hit out at Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the BJP government for allegedly playing vendetta politics. Income tax officials carried out searches in the office block of the Poise Garden residence of late Tamil Nadu Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha. Tax officials also conducted surveys at Veda Nilayam, a room that was used by jailed AIDMK leader VK Sasikala. They confiscated a laptop, desktop computer and some pen drives. Calling the searches political vendetta, TTV Dinakaran led AIDMK party supporters in a protest outside Poise Garden. He also accused the state and central government of maligning his family's name.
Wherever Mr. TTV Dinakaran goes, you can see the crowd, how they are supporting him. We never call anybody, but they are coming by themselves. In all the meetings of our Mr. TTV Dinakaran, sir, the people, youngsters are coming just like waves. This government cannot digest it. They don't want our people, our faction, our Chenama family to be in the party.
This BJP government is targeting people who are against them, who are opposing them, and penalizing. That means they are conducting raids in their houses. But if suppose somebody supports the government, whatever wrong they do, the BJP government does not look at that side.
The action by the Income Tax Department comes barely a few days after similar searches at more than 140 residential and business premises linked to VK Sasikala and her associates. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Meanwhile, the controversy surrounding the release of Sanjay Leela Bhansali's film Padmavati refuses to die down. The Central Board of Film Certification, or the CBFC, has sent back the film to its makers, citing technical issues. This as protests against the film spread to different states. Rajput organizations are firm on their call for a nationwide bandh on the 1st of December, the day the film is slated for release.
As protests continue to mount against the release of Padmavati, the makers of the film got embroiled in yet another controversy. The Central Board of Film Certification sent the film back to the makers, saying the application for the certification was incomplete. CBFC chairperson Prasoon Joshi also expressed disappointment over a special screening of the film for a section of the media before it being certified. Speaking to a news agency, Joshi said it's disappointing that the film Padmavati is being screened for the media and getting reviewed on national channels without CBFC having seen or certified the film. This, he said, compromises the role of systems and balances that are part of a functioning industry. He further said it's myopic to treat the certification process haphazardly to suit convenience. Meanwhile, protesting groups remain adamant on not letting the film be released on the 1st of December. Hundreds of locals led by the Rajput community blocked the entry to the Kumbhalgarh fort in Rajsamand district on Saturday, demanding a complete ban on the film. This a day after similar protests were held at the Chittorgarh fort.
बिना सेंसर बोर्ड से पास हुई फिल्म वो फिर धोखा दे रहा है मीडिया वालों को। जिनको दिखाई है उनके साथ धोखा है, जिनको नहीं दिखाई है उनके साथ में तो नहीं दिखाई है, उनके साथ तो धोखा है ही।
Political reactions to the controversy also came in.
किसी कम्युनिटी के सेंटिमेंट नहीं हर्ट होने चाहिए, और अगर है तो आप कृपा कर उसकी एक प्राइवेट व्यूइंग करा दीजिए उनके कम्युनिटी के लीडर्स को, ताकि स्पष्ट हो जाए मामला। आप कह रहे हैं कि मेरी तरफ से ऐसा कुछ है नहीं, वो उनको शक है कि आपने कुछ ऐसा डाला है।
जहां आईएनबी मिनिस्टर दखल अंदाजी करना चाहिए कि पद्मावती को इट शुड बी अलाउड टू बी स्क्रीन, वहां तो दखल अंदाजी कर नहीं रहे, और जहां नहीं करनी चाहिए वहां दखल अंदाजी कर रहे हैं।
The film fraternity remains divided over the issue. While some veteran actors and directors have lent support to Sanjay Leela Bhansali and the actors of Padmavati, few others believe sentiments of protesting groups must be respected. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In other news, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today addressed the 8th convocation ceremony of Geetam University at Hyderabad campus, stating that India is at the cusp of a massive transformation in all spheres. The Vice President said that no other country has the kind of demographic advantage that India has. Asking the faculty to devote time to relevant research, the Vice President said that it will improve the intellectual stature of the universities and make them powerhouses of knowledge. They can potentially be the think tanks for national policy development as well.
On this momentous occasion, I would like to congratulate the students for acquiring the coveted degrees, prizes and medals. I also congratulate the esteemed teachers for sharing and imparting invaluable knowledge to mold the young minds in different disciplines. I consider that the faculty have nurtured and enriched the human resource of our country and commend them for their endeavors. Teachers have a special role in our society in shaping the destiny of our country and making our children as responsible citizens.
The air quality in Delhi NCR region improved on Saturday following overnight mild showers, decreasing the concentration of particulate matter. Light showers in the capital led to a chill in the air and humidity levels remained high. The Met Department has predicted partly cloudy skies along with the possibility of light rain and drizzle in some parts of the city for Sunday as well. The maximum temperature was recorded at 26.1 degrees Celsius, 2 notches below the season's average, while the minimum settled at 13.9 degrees Celsius, a notch below normal. The air quality also improved slightly, moving from very poor to the poor category. And staying with the weather, high-altitude areas in Jammu and Kashmir witnessed heavy snowfall through Friday night and Saturday, leading to the closure of the Mughal Road and the Srinagar-Leh highway. Officials in Jammu said that around 2 feet of snow had accumulated along the 20-kilometer Mughal Road stretch connecting Poonch district with South Kashmir's Shopian district. The 300-kilometer Jammu-Srinagar National Highway is open for now, but commuters have been asked to avoid night travel due to threat of landslides and shooting of stones. Due to the prevailing weather conditions, both day and night temperatures plummeted in most parts of Jammu and Kashmir region. In Himachal Pradesh as well, Lahore and Spiti districts woke up, in fact, to fresh snowfall on Saturday, marking the end of a dry spell in the region. Areas in the district received up to 25 centimeters of snowfall. Areas like Kullu and Manali too received heavy snowfall, bringing cheer to the locals who are looking forward to a good tourist season. In more national news, the Niti Aayog on Saturday gave details of the much-awaited Global Entrepreneurship Summit, which will be held in Hyderabad from the 28th of November. Speaking to the media, Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant confirms that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be inaugurating the summit. The 8th Global Entrepreneurship Summit, organized by the US government in collaboration with Niti Aayog, aims to bring together at least 1,500 participants and more than 300 investors from across the world. The US President's senior advisor and daughter, Ivanka Trump, will lead the US delegation at GES, which is being held with the theme Women First, Prosperity for All. The summit will primarily focus on 4 sets of sectors: health and life sciences, digital economy and fintech, energy and infrastructure, and lastly, media and entertainment.
The summit would offer different formats for interaction amongst the participants, from panel discussions, networking opportunities and pitch events. For India, this summit holds a special place as we are more intensely focused than ever before to give entrepreneurs the opportunities and ecosystem to help them thrive.
The Madras High Court has directed the centre to inform it about the status of the transgender bill pending in Parliament. Voicing concern over the plight of transgenders, Justice N. Kirubakaran asked the centre to take a decision on the passage of the bill at the earliest because the transgenders were suffering. He directed the central government to inform the court on the follow-up action to be taken to make the Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Bill 2016 a law. The Rights of Transgender Persons 2014 was passed by the Rajya Sabha in 2015 but has been pending in Lok Sabha since February 26, 2016. This proposed act of the Parliament seeks to help extend constitutional rights and end the discrimination faced by transgenders. With a look at what else made news across the country today in Nationwide. DNIA filed a case on the killing of RSS leader Ravindra Gosai in Ludhiana nearly a month after the Punjab government handed over the investigation to the Central Probe Agency. Gosai was returning home after attending a morning RSS Shakha when 2 bike-borne assailants attacked him in Ludhiana last month. The CBI today filed a case against aviation consultant Deepak Talwar, an NGO linked to him and others, for allegedly misutilizing 90 crore rupees taken through the foreign funding route as part of the corporate social responsibility. The agency carried out searches at 11 places yesterday and said that it recovered as many incriminating documents. The agency said that it registered an FIR against the accused based on a complaint of the Home Ministry. A wreath-laying ceremony was today held in DPL Udhampur to pay homage to police officer Imran Tak. Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti, Deputy Chief Minister Nirmal Singh, DGP SP Vaid, along with SSP and other police officers and district administration officers paid tribute to the memory of the sub-inspector. With a quick break here, we'll be back with the top international stories in a bit. Stay with us.
I think we safeguard India's biodiversity.
In terms of microbial?
In terms of, because we preserve them, we distribute them. We have almost 30,000 strains of different pathogens. No drug in the last 45 years for treatment of tuberculosis. So as a part of the team, we were able to discover a new molecule called Bedaclin. It's the first drug to be discovered in the last 45 years, treatment of drug-resistant.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Anil Kaul, Director at CSIR, Institute of Microbial Technology, Chandigarh, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Ustad Bismillah Khan, the legendary maestro who brought Shehnai to the center stage of Indian classical music in 1937. With his heart-touching rendering of Rag Rafi, Ustad mesmerized millions of hearts on the eve of the First Republic Day. But most significant was when India achieved independence. And Bismillah Khan performed from the ramparts of the Red Fort on 15th August 1947. Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Let's get you the top international story. And almost 200 nations kept the 2015 climate change agreement on track, with delegates saying that they were pleased with the progress in bringing together a rule book for the Paris Agreement. But the technical discussions took place against the backdrop of a larger battle about coal, oil and gas. Here's a report. The last lap of the United Nations climate talks in Bonn continued into the night and early morning on Saturday and finally concluded with modest accomplishments.
We have done the job. Thank you. We have done the job we were given to do, which was to advance the implementation guideline of the Paris Agreement and prepare for more ambitious action through the Talanoa Dialogue of 2018.
Fiji, holding the presidency of this meeting, proposed what's being called the Talanoa Dialogue. The conference resolved a handful of issues dear to vulnerable nations, but the most thorny decisions were shoved to 2018, when the talks take place in Poland. Over the next year, a series of discussions will take place to help countries look at the promises they've made under the Paris Pact.
Today we leave Bonn in the spirit of Talanoa, respectful of each other's views, determined to share our experiences in deploying ambitious climate action and preserving the spirit of the Paris Agreement.
This meeting, known as COP23, was tasked with clarifying complex operational issues around the workings of the Paris Climate Agreement. Under the 2015 agreement, nearly 200 nations submitted individual pledges to curb their greenhouse gas emissions, and wealthy countries promised to deliver aid amounting to at least $100 billion per year by 2020 to help poor countries develop clean energy and build resilience to disasters.
Remain concerned about the resistance to consider proposals from developing countries that call for greater transparency and predictability in the provision of information on finance from developed countries in accordance with Article 9.5 of the Paris Agreement.
The Paris Agreement also saw world leaders promise to cap the rise in temperature at well below 2 degrees Celsius. But everyone at the Bonn talks conceded that nations were still way off course from that goal. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Meanwhile, thousands of Zimbabweans took to the streets of Harare on Saturday to demand the resignation of Robert Mugabe. This comes 4 days after a military takeover in the South African nation. Crowds gathered in Harare for the rally, with some raising slogans in celebration and others holding up signs that read "Thank you ZDF," a reference to the defense forces behind the military intervention. As questions remain on who is in charge of the nation, Mugabe emerged from house arrest on Friday to attend a university event. Several media reports claim that the 93-year-old has refused demands to leave office, prompting senior officials in the ruling party to call for his expulsion from the organization along with his wife, Grace.
Basically, we are Zimbabweans. We're saying to our army, thank you very much for the peaceful intervention. And it's time for the masses of Zimbabwe to say Mugabe must go, and must go like yesterday. We can't wait to see his back. And today's solidarity consists of every Zimbabwean.
For us, it's about a new beginning. For us, it's about the end of a tyrant rule. And we are going to take our Zimbabwe back. This flag, my guy.
An earthquake of magnitude 6.3 struck a remote part of Tibet early Saturday morning. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the quake struck at 6:34 a.m. local time at a shallow depth of 6.2 miles on the Tibetan plateau. It struck in the Nyingchi region of Tibet, with the epicenter being in an uninhabited region. Chinese state media Xinhua said that the earthquake caused power outages and significant damage in villages near Nyingchi, and that emergency response staff had been mobilized to investigate it. Military soldiers, paramilitary police and firefighters were also deployed to the site to help quake victims set up tents, also to provide relief supplies. And here are more updates from across the world in Global Buzz. Pakistan's ousted Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and 4 of his family members could be barred from leaving the country in connection with the Panama Papers case. According to reports, Pakistan's National Accountability Bureau initiated a process to place their names on the exit control list. Sharif and some family members are facing charges related to their ownership of properties in London. 3 cases were filed against Sharif, his children and son-in-law in the Accountability Court in September. Lebanon's Prime Minister Saad Hariri arrived in France from Saudi Arabia, where his resignation sparked accusations of forceful detention by Saudi Arabian. In fact, Hariri is in Paris at the invitation of France's President Emmanuel Macron, who is mediating the brewing crisis in the Middle East. China's special envoy to North Korea, Song Tao, met high-ranking North Korean official Cho Ryong-hae in Pyongyang. Briefing the position of China's 19th National Congress, Song said that China wanted to steadily develop the traditionally friendly relations between the two parties and countries. Song's trip comes just a week after US President Donald Trump visited Beijing as part of his Asia tour. And in sports, India were all out at a total of 172 in their first innings of the first test against Sri Lanka at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata. Sri Lanka reached 165 for 4 at stumps after wrapping up the Indian side. Lahiru Thirumanne and Angelo Matthews both scored half-centuries to put the visitors in a decent position. Dinesh Chandimal on 13 and Niroshan Digwela on 14 were unbeaten at the crease, with Sri Lanka trailing by just 7 runs. For India, Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Umesh Yadav took 2 wickets each to keep the hosts in the house, while Mohammad Shami and R. Ashwin were unable to pick up any wickets. Earlier, Chiteshwar Pujara made 52 before India was bowled out. Ridhiman Saha with 29 and Ravindra Jadeja with 22 runs contributed with their 48 runs 6th wicket stand, while Mohammad Shami chipped in with 24 runs. And finally, here are some more updates from the world of sports in SportsBeat. 2-time Olympic medalists Sushil Kumar, Sakshi Malik and Geeta Fogart won gold medals in their respective categories in the National Wrestling Championship in Indore. In the men's 74-kilogram freestyle competition, Sushil Kumar took less than 3 minutes to bag a gold medal as 3 of his rivals gave him a walkover. 62-kilogram category, Sakshi defeated Pooja Tomar of Haryana 10-0, while Geeta defeated Ravita in the final of the 58-kilogram category. In tennis, world number 6 Grigor Dimitrov defeated Spain's Pablo Carreno Busta in the ATP finals in London. Dimitrov beat Carreno Busta 6-1, 6-1. Busta replaced compatriot Rafael Nadal, who withdrew after his round-robin defeat by David Goffin earlier in the week. Bulgaria's Dimitrov will now face America's Jack Sock in the semi-finals. Borussia Dortmund slipped deeper into crisis after losing 2-1 against VfB Stuttgart. This was their fourth defeat in the last 5 Bundesliga matches. Shadrach Akolo scored the opening for Stuttgart in the 5th minute, but Dortmund managed to score the equalizer with Maximilian Philip's kick on a rebound after Andre Schurrell's penalty was saved. Josip Bekalo then scored the second goal for Stuttgart, which sealed the victory. Chris Coleman has stepped down as Wales manager and will take over Sunderland. Coleman agreed to lead Sunderland, who were relegated to England's second tier from the Premier League this year. He became Wales manager in 2012 and led his country to the semi-finals of Euro 2016. Meanwhile, Sunderland has been without a manager since Simon Grayson was sacked last month. That's it on the news tonight. Thank you for joining us.